Overnight, artificial intelligence and cyber risk moved back to the center of the global security agenda. Five Eyes agencies have issued a blunt warning that leaders must act swiftly as AI accelerates the speed, scale, and sophistication of cyber threats. The message is aimed at both governments and business, and it underscores that AI is now a force multiplier for espionage, disruption, and criminal activity, not just productivity. On global conflict, diplomacy around Iran has edged forward but remains fragile. U.S.-Iran talks in Switzerland are being framed as making progress, with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance saying Iran will allow nuclear inspectors back into the country. At the same time, Donald Trump has threatened Iran as the talks proceed, raising the risk that rhetoric hardens positions even as negotiators look for a pathway to verification and restraint. In the region, Lebanon is discussing a deconfliction mechanism ahead of Israel-related talks, signaling efforts to prevent escalation even if a broader settlement remains distant. In Europe, authorities are preparing for extreme heat, with France issuing red alerts. The immediate development is operational. Restrictions and emergency measures are being imposed as temperatures climb, adding pressure to energy systems and public health responses at the start of the northern summer. On the global economy and markets, there is growing focus on whether the long run of record highs in equities can last. Commentary is sharpening around the durability of the boom and the risk that high-profile tech narratives could reverse sentiment quickly. Separately, the Financial Times reports the death of former U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Alan Greenspan at 100, prompting renewed attention to the long arc of monetary policy credibility, asset prices, and the legacy of low-rate eras that shape today's market assumptions. In UK politics, a major leadership transition is now underway. Keir Starmer has announced he will stand down as Prime Minister less than 2 years after winning office. Reporting indicates Andy Burnham is poised to succeed him, with implications for policy direction and for the UK's engagement with Europe. An EU-UK summit has been postponed amid the changeover. Turning to Australia, the AI warning has direct relevance for the Australian public service and critical infrastructure operators. The clear development is that allied intelligence agencies are now publicly pressing for faster action, which will intensify expectations on Canberra around cyber uplift, procurement standards, incident reporting, and workforce capability, including how agencies govern and deploy AI tools internally. In federal politics today, Parliament is set to adjourn early so MPs can attend the official opening of a new hall as part of the $550 million Australian War Memorial extension. The project remains controversial, and the early adjournment will keep attention on government priorities, symbolism, and spending. On public sentiment and the domestic outlook, new analysis of the Lowy poll points to Australians becoming more pessimistic across the board. While not a market release, it is a material signal for policymakers. Gloomier attitudes can shape tolerance for reform, defense settings, and economic trade-offs. Finally, on climate technology, a U.S. startup has raised $75 million to pursue solar geoengineering approaches aimed at reflecting sunlight to cool the planet. The development is the funding itself, but the strategic issue is the growing gap between private sector experimentation and the scientific warnings about unintended consequences, including potential disruption to monsoon systems. That's the latest across AI, conflict, markets, and Australian politics to start the day.